Hi, everyone. My name's David, and I'm going to take you through the PTE reading class. Yep, and we're going to focus on all the skills we need to do PTE reading successfully. Grab a pen and a piece of paper in front of you. This session won't go for long, and there'll be a lot of information, so you want to take it in and participate as much as possible. Awesome. Okay. I'm just going to get us started. We're going to figure out what we're about to do. We're going to look at methods. We're going to do some vocabulary and reading practice, and we're going to practice each reading task in readiness for test day. In the PTE reading test, there are fill in the blanks, multiple choice, choose multiple answers, reorder paragraphs, filling in the blanks, drag and drop, and multiple choice, choose single answer. That's 5 reading tasks. There are a number of these in the test, so we're going to get good at each of them so that you get maximum marks in the test. In the reading test, you need to look at, be aware that you need to manage your time, because if you don't, you won't finish the test. What will happen is you'll be left with no time at the end to do a large number of questions. So limit the amount of time you spend on each task. The multiple choice, choose multiple answer tasks takes a little bit longer, but each of the individual tasks, we recommend you spend no more than 2 minutes on each. So by the time you've completed the task, you'll have time to complete the whole test. You get it? Okay, so 15 to 20 questions in total, about 29 or 30 minutes. It's juggled on the day, so no 2 tests are alike. In fact, no 2 tests are alike in the same test center on the same day. So you won't be doing the same reading test as the person next to you doing the PTE reading test. Yep. Okay. So it's a good idea to be familiar with that so that you can prepare and not be surprised on the day as well. Now, grab a pen and paper and let's get started. We've got some pre-reading vocabulary, meaning we're going to get used to the vocabulary level for this kind of test. I'm going to read these words and phrases out. I want you to listen and use your eyes to read through with me. Management practices, terrestrial, vary, variation, variability, surveillance, replenish, contradictory results, consume, consumption, sparse, daft, deficiency. Phrases, a variety of factors are related to, such as contribute to, based on, focus on, according to, associated with, a range of, communicate with, amount of, treatment of, program for, spread of, and present in. Now, notice there are a lot of prepositions in those collocations and phrases. We get used to that by hearing them and then recognizing them and repeating them and using them in our own responses. All right. Task 1, remember there are 5 tasks. Task 1, reading and writing, filling in the blanks. This is what it looks like and will always look like this on test day, yeah? So below is the text with blanks. Click on each blank. A list of choices will appear. Select the appropriate answer choice for each blank. They are the instructions. Our method is to speed read the first sentence, to let our mind know what the text is about. Then read the words around the gaps because they will guide us as to what word form is needed, but also what collocation is likely, what word is going to match or pair with the word that comes before or after. So try the most likely words when they drop down and choose the best words based on most appropriate in the context. So if one word is formal and one word is informal and they have the same meaning, choose the formal one because these are formal academic texts. The most appropriate one in the context, the best collocation, what matches the words around, and grammatical accuracy. So make sure that you're choosing a word form that's grammatically accurate in that space. If you don't know, eliminate any that are unlikely or not possible and be left with less options. So if there are 4 options, which there will be, 2 of them may be completely unusable and 2 of them may be similar. And the 2 that are similar, one is likely to be more formal than the other, and it's the more formal one that we're going to choose. Check it makes sense. 1 point for each correct answer. And there'll be a number of these in the test. Remember, try to spend about 2 minutes. It says 2.5 minutes there, about 2 minutes on each task. Are you ready? We're going to try one. In actual fact, we're going to trick you by saying try and do it in 1.5 minutes in order to speed up. So have a look around it. We know what the instructions are. Have a look at the first sentence. And then here are our drop-down choices on this side. So that's for number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so either you're writing your answers down or you're typing your answers in the chat box. In either of those cases, you're making a choice as to which answer is most appropriate in the blank. All right, give it a go. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skimming. They're making a choice based on grammar sense and semantic sense or meaning sense, looking either side to check out for collocations and what sounds right. Clock ticking. Okay, making our best choices. Now, there's another little bit of information I'm going to give you, and that is that you don't need to read the sentences that don't have a blank in them. So once you've answered number 2, you move on to answer number 3. Check from the beginning of the sentence to the end and the one that's most likely. Then move to 4, 5, and 6. It saves quite a bit of time. Quite a good trick, huh? Okay. All right. Now, let's check our answers. And here they are. So, states active surveillance programs for mosquitoes. Yep. The others don't fit in the blank. They just don't make sense. It responded. Yep. Mosquito distribution maps, most likely of the choices there, the one that's most likely is distribution. Yet there is limited information. Darth also makes sense, but it's not a word that's often used. So we choose the one that's going to be most likely in this context. Darth is there, though, however, the dearth of information. That's the one I wanted to know. The dearth of information, and then diseases carried by mosquitoes. All right, so Darth is accurate number 5 because it's of the 4, it's the one that's most accurate. Yep. Okay, so I wonder how well you did. You had a possible score of 6. Did you get 6? Now, what we do is we improve our vocabulary by studying, by reading, by listening. We improve our sense of collocations by what words go together, and then we get good at making choices. All righty, we actually love the word Darth. So here we go. Multiple choice, choose multiple answers. We spend a little bit more on this one. This is what it looks like. Read the prompt carefully. It's the same as the listening as well. Read the prompt carefully. Know what we're looking out for. Speed read the text for main ideas and key vocabulary. Identify the main idea of the text in our mind so we know what the subject is and the gist is. And then identify keywords in the answer options. The answer options are in boxes, which indicates multiple choice, choose multiple answer. Find keywords in the text one at a time and read around the relevant section to match the meaning in the text with our option that gives us the answer to the prompt. Yep. So decide if the text says the same thing. If it does, it's correct. If not, leave it because there's negative scoring. What does that mean? Well, that means that if you get 2 or 3 answers correct, because there will be 2 or 3 answers that could be correct, you will get the full grades. However, if you choose an incorrect answer, you'll get a -1. So if 2 answers are correct and you choose 1 correct one and 1 incorrect one, you'll get 0. So you're better off choosing the correct answer only, which would be 1. Sounds logical, but that's our approach, is only choose correct answers. When you find keywords in the answer option, you need to scan quickly and find the same words in the text. Then read carefully around that word in the text and then match meaning. Let's practice scanning. It's that skill we need in reading. All right, so have a look at this. You're going to speed read and you're going to figure out where on the table are these words A, B, C, D, E, and F? And we're going to use this technique or this technique or this technique. We don't necessarily have to go up and down the list because we're hunting for these words. Now, this is a great task to do and necessary in all reading tasks. So either writing it down or typing it in the chat box. Let's give it a go. We're going to find daft, surveillance, sparse, terrestrial, replenish, and contradictory. What numbers match the letters? Away we go. I'm tapping the desk here because time ticks on. About halfway through. There it is. How'd you do? There are answers there. Yep. Okay. We found them in the table. All good? Okay. Now, scanning is essential. So is skimming. And what you did there was hunt for words. Brilliant. Method review. Read the prompt carefully. Yep. And then speed read the text for main ideas and key vocabulary. Identify keywords in the answer options. Match the same words or synonyms in the text, and then read around them in the text, and then make a choice. Decide if the text says the same thing as the answer option. If it does, select it. If it doesn't, leave it. The square buttons indicate the multiple answer task. Yep. Are you ready? Let's do it. All right. So again, we're going to give around about 2 minutes, a little bit more. Scanning for the keywords and deciding whether they match the text or not. Time's already started. How are we doing? Good? Remember the method? Take the keywords to the text, read around the keywords in the text, and match them to the answer if they're correct. Only choose correct answers. All right, let's see who's going to get maximum marks in this one. Okay, just checking you finally, make your decisions. 2 or 3 answers will be correct, but you may only choose one. You want to score positively. Yep. Okay, here we go. Does the answer option say the same thing as the text? A. No, it doesn't. J curve. B. Correct. C. Spot method. Gold standard. Flawed. Correct. D. It mentions 24, but it wasn't actually correct to say that. Health outcomes, unreliable, says the same thing, but that's not, the words appear to be the same, but it doesn't have the same meaning. And F is correct as well. So B, C, and F, well done if you got 3, well done if you got 2, well done if you got 1. And if you experience negative marking, we learn from that as well. All good. Moving on. 6 for filling in the blanks. Possible 3 for multiple choice, choose multiple answer. Possible out of 9 at the moment. Reorder paragraphs. Remember, there are 5 tasks. This is going to be task number 3. Here's our method. Find the independent sentence, the sentence that doesn't refer to anything that has come before it. So it's a standalone sentence that doesn't make a reference to anything outside of itself. So it doesn't refer to something that's come before. Follow the sequence of ideas. In this case, what we're going to work out is there will be a statement that has a subject and an object in it, object after the verb, subject before the verb. The sentence that follows that will pick up on the information from the previous subject or object in the sentence that comes prior. So, subject, object, logical sequence, next sentence develops that idea, either the subject or the object of the previous sentence, as in generally not in the same word matching, but in the form of a synonym. So we'll see how that works. We're going to follow the sequence of ideas through. We're going to, you help grammar help us, or let grammar help us. If a noun is introduced by an indefinite article, then it's the first time it's been used. If it's referenced by a definite article, in that case, the word then the word has already been introduced. It needs to be introduced first before we know specifically what it is. Yep, so grammar gives us a clue there. Connect each sentence to the next, and then check to see if the whole paragraph does make logical sense. Beginning independent sentence, sequencing ideas all the way through in a logical order, in a time order, if there's time, dates, and mentioned as well, and also in a sequence of developing ideas. What ideas are introduced and then developed. You'll get a mark for each connected sentence. Yep. All right. Now, how do we know how to sequence sentences? Well, we've got some sentences in the correct order. Why and what are the links? So we have a look at this. We're looking for the subject part of the sentence. We're looking for the object part of the sentence. And we're looking at what are the connections. All right. So in this case, a shell is referenced by it in the next sentence because it's singular, bottom and top. So the next sentence talks to a lower part of the shell, which was referenced before. And then after that, the upper part of the shell. And then they refers to both parts of the shell. And then the leatherback turtle is one of these types of turtle. Okay, that's how we sequenced ideas by referencing, by pronouns that reference back to a noun that was mentioned previously, by developing the idea of 2 separate ideas like bottom and top, and then we've got to round off with the sentence, the leatherback turtle is the final sentence. Are you ready? All right, now we're going to start with a standalone sentence, the sentence that doesn't refer to anything that goes before it. And then we're going to reference back all the way through, sequencing the ideas as you go. All right, so identify the keywords and match them in the sentence to the sentence that comes after. Reorder the paragraph in the correct order. Only one of those sentences can be the independent sentence. All good? Okay. Just checking over our choices and let's check the answers. Fingers crossed. C, must be the standalone sentence because it's the only one that doesn't refer to something that comes before it. E, continues talking about nouns. B, why? Because it develops the ideas and talks about a range of languages and refers back to a range of languages. Then A, refers back to back to utterances, to ums and ahs, and then it develops the idea extends it beyond the original idea into digital communication. All right, C, E, B, A, D. Now, if you got one of those in the wrong order, that's the way it is. If you got them all in the right order, well done. All right, so that's our strategy. Sequencing ideas, looking at how ideas are referenced back to previous sentences and putting them in the correct order. All right, you would have got 4 for that because there were 4 links or 4 joins in the paragraph. Reading, filling in the blanks. This is the other filling in the blank style. So how does this work? Well, we've got our instructions, our answer options, and our method. So speed read the first sentence. Yeah, find out what the text is about. Let it know our brain what's going on. Let our brain know what's going on. We're signaling words into the mind, into the memory, the frontal lobes, to figure out what is the subject of this text. Read the words around the gaps, again, because we're listening or identifying collocations. Then select the best word in the box, again, the one that's appropriate in the context. Now, it may have a similar meaning to another word in the box, but in actual fact, the word that's most appropriate will only be one of them. All right, so eliminate incorrect answers. Select the one you think is correct. Identify whether you need a verb, a noun, or another word form, an adjective, an adverb, or a preposition. Check that it makes sense, what sounds right, and then put it in the box. You can always reverse that order by clicking on it and dropping it back to where it came from. All right, are you ready? All right, we haven't got long, so skim read the first sentence, find out what it's about, and then write the answers in the chat box or on a piece of paper in front of you. Let's do it. All good? Okay. Yep. We did use the method, didn't we? We worked out what word form would be most appropriate, what words come other side, and how, and then we make our choices. And the answers are rests, mechanism, primarily, across, and head. Okay, for primarily, the choice was quickly or primarily. It would have been an adverb. We recognized that. And the primarily meaning the first by first means rather than by speed. Okay, all right, good work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Possibility, how did you go? Running total currently 18. Vocabulary quiz coming up. Choose single answer, multiple choice, choose single answer. Carefully read the prompt. Deep read the text. Now, deep read means that we're going to read from the beginning of the sentence through to the full stop in order to understand. So carefully read the prompt. That's our guide telling us what we're going to look for. Deep read, beginning of sentence to full stop. Then go back and forth between the options and the text after we've deep read in order to match those words from the options to the text, and then read around and decide whether correct or not. Eliminate and select. Match your understanding to the best answer option. Don't choose an option just because the words are the same. You'll find out it may not answer the prompt. All right, are you ready? Okay, now it says 2 minutes. We're actually going to allow less than that. So, deep read, read the prompt, deep read, take keywords to the text, read around the text, and match them to the options. Let's go. Okay, we're going to shorten the time on this one. And have we got the answer? I hope so. For those of you who are good at this, the answer is A. The maker will take no legal responsibility for safety. Reusing accessories labeled for single use will transfer legal liability for the safe performance of the product from the manufacturer to the user. Did you get it? I hope so. If you did, congratulations. If not, keep practicing these task types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Possible out of 19. Quick quiz. Okay. First of all, we're going to read these. Speed read. Enzymes, fiber enclosed, applications in industrial context, geological conditions, high pressure, can be refined. Raw material, follow through with me, can be generated by wastewater treatment, sewage. Majority of current technology is wastewater for fuel consumption. Human counterparts inserted into, identifying the words we're not familiar with. Yep. Fraction of. And similar to. Filling in the gaps. 30 seconds. Make your choice. Time starts now. Wow, that was quick, wasn't it? Okay, we got it? Okay, we're on to the second lot. Here we go. Okay, it's a challenge. We're going to get good at it, and some of you will have done it. So well done. Contexts. Hang on. It's actually, Variability. That's not right. That answer is wrong. It's not a context. The word was number one is variability. Shall I replenish your drink? Extraterrestrial. There's a lot more surveillance. There's been a daft of interesting, movies this year. It takes a lot of skill to communicate with animals. There's the theories based on, caffeine is present in, spread of, and program for. High five if you got those correct. All right, well done. All right, now, how does that work? Well, remember it was out of 19, so an indicator would be that if you got 17, you'd get 79 in the test. 14, 65, 50, you'd get 11. Sorry, 11, you'd get 50. All right, so you're going to, each time you take do one of these classes and get the experience of practicing the method, you'll get an indicator about how well you're going. So it's a good idea to turn up to the live classes to develop your vocabulary, identify how fast we're reading in order to be efficient at this type of task. With identifying independent sentences in the reorder paragraphs, we're identifying the links and the sequencing of sentences in the reorder paragraphs as well. We're understanding the nuances or the subtleties of grammar, and we understand the question. We're matching keywords from the options to the text, reading around them, matching them, eliminating and selecting. We're building our vocabulary so that we can do things accurately at speed. Yeah. Did you use the method? How could you be more accurate? How could you go faster if you need to? Some people don't need to go any faster. They just want to be more accurate. And are there words you need to learn? And if there are, use the dictionary, guess from context, build up a vocab list, read more, listen more, and build up an understanding of English vocabulary through usage and through engagement as well. Hey, thanks for joining us, guys. We got this close to half an hour, so well done. We sped through 5 methods for the reading test. If you want to review this, watch it again. Thanks for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you when you turn up in class on E2 platform, in one of the live classes via the E2 platform, or see you and your results while you're studying from the platform. Great to have you here, and looking forward to working with you some more. My name's David. Hope to see you soon. Bye for now.